inherency about MDA underfunding is it's already funded. What is the date of it? 2012. Huh? 2012. Wait, what date? Something is a PDF and it's only for the year. It's a physical budget request for 2012. It's a budget request for 2012. So it's in 2012?
Yes.
So can we, like, our evidence is also from 2012. Will you please see, can you see for us if it's like when it is? No, our evidence is in here.
March 2020.
Ours is from March 20th. Okay. So you said something about the topicality argument. We said that. But can you repeat? Like when you said we have to refute topicality by structure. Who did miss? Like you said we need to refute the topicality by structure, right? Like A, counter definition, B, counter interpretation, and C, I don't remember, and D, voting issue. I don't remember C. And for the DA, you gave us lots of impacts like linked to global nuclear war, and can you repeat the impact? Which one? For your spending. Well, which one? I have like all the impacts. First, global nuclear war and international economic stability will be threatened. Also, that economic decline crushes relations with all countries and lead to global war. The economic collapse erodes public support for hegemony. Yes, public support.
Erodes.
So it would erode. It would like public will support.
No, it will erode it away.
Oh, erode. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Your speech.
My speech. Okay.
And I don't know how to say this. Wait a minute.
It's really long, so I don't think I should do this. This? Take my computer. Right? Just like this. All of it? Oh. That's fine. Okay. Judges are ready. Debaters are ready?
Yeah.
Cameras are ready? No, I'm one and up. 3, 2, 1, go. My opponent has stated that in her case, in potential one inherency, she has stated that MDA is underfunded and her evidence is from March 24, 2012. Well, her evidence doesn't have anything about MDA in general. This is in February 2012, President Obama issued his FY 2013 budget proposal. His $59 billion request for the Department of Homeland Security is slightly lower than the enacted level for fiscal year 2012. But his budget falls short in border security and immigration law enforcement measures have been cut. Too many items in the fiscal year 2013 budget reflect misplaced priorities. It has nothing that refers to NDA. Also, ancestor solvency ORS. Launches does not mean to launches doesn't mean solve. Satellites can't replace or serve major functions. Tom Air and Space Power Journal 2006. Operation responsive launch has yet to be realized, but is much closer to reality. There's a definite need for a capability to place inexpensive payloads into space on a very short time schedule. Developing a tactically useful payloads that can take advantage of responsive launch is a different matter. Physical constraints placed on satellites by orbital mechanics and operational requirements placed on the payloads by the missions can be performed from space prevents all but the most rudimentary tactical missions from being attainable for the foreseeable future. This launch doesn't always solve, and satellites cannot replace or serve major functions. Small satellites will fail. Fastest space review 2011. This growing interest in small satellites doesn't mean that the future is entirely rosy for such spacecraft. Small satellites still face a number of issues blocking the greater adoption. The biggest challenge is the long-running concern about finding frequent and affordable access to space. Another major challenge in the small sat field is finding sustainable market niche. I have found limited success at best in two commercial markets, communications and remote sensing. I would say that we had a marginal success in telecommunications and a pretty darn good chance success in remote sensing. In the rest of the area, I would say we have not produced today. This shows that small satellites would fail, and they do not. It takes much more money to send them into space. Nearly no evidence exists to prove the viability of small satellites. Rejects theories based on models that lack specific technology. Harris's Space and Defense, 2009. There are reasons for skepticism, not least that no one has so far succeeded in deploying constellations of mini satellites. It's possible to attribute any qualities you want to a system you have yet to develop. 25. Thus, constellations of mini satellites are said to have been the potential of replacing not only command and control and electronic surveillance functions, but even the reconnaissance missions that now require larger structures to accommodate very long focal point cameras. It is also possible to conceive of mini satellites employing orbiting hunter-killers. None of these visions have been proven. This shows that there's not that many evidence cards that prove the viability of small satellites, and these should be rejected. Hardening and maneuver capabilities are unfair. Krepon National Defense University, 2011. Maneuvering in space is usually very limited. Unlike warships or tanks that have maneuver and can fire many weapons, satellites have little carrying capacity beyond that required to perform their mission. This shows that hardening maneuver capabilities are failures. A further plan makes the US more vulnerable. Harris's Space and Defense, 2009. The notion that ORS is another example of how nomenclature can bias analysis. There are circumstances in which this sort of budget commitment might be made, but that is hardly a desirable alternative for the point of view of the United States. Once the next generation of the systems is online, US ground, sea, and air forces will become more dependent on space assets. This shows that affirmative plan makes the US more vulnerable. Has the biggest risk of accidental launch. Star Scientists for Global Responsibility in 2008. High-alert, launch-ready nuclear weapons have been deployed in the US and USSR for decades. ICBM went on alert in October 1962 April. Despite the apparent dangers of LOW, including the launch of a nuclear retaliatory strike based upon a false warning, the US and Russia have continued to shorten the time required to launch the missiles. It shows that it's the biggest risk of accidental launch. The affirmative authors have a bias in being overly optimistic of technology. Libao, 1987. The nuclear navy and the SAC are bastions of technological optimists. Officers believe that their weapons at their command are are reliable and robust. Most of them are unwilling to consider the possibility of a catastrophic failure, especially one triggered by human error. Their attitude is attributable in the first instance to cognitive bias. This shows that affirmative authors have bias in everything they say. Tech complexity and tight coupling of response times make accidents more likely. Shistava, Human Relations, 2009. Complex interactions occur in unfamiliar sequences or unplanned and unexpected sequences. And all failing technological systems that are once complexly interactive and tightly coupled can lead to system accidents. When circumstances are just right, the failure can trigger other failures that can interact amongst each other. This shows that tech complexity and tight coupling are more likely. For these reasons, we urge you to vote negative. What?
We have like 4 minutes.
1 minute?
2 minutes.
You want 2 minutes?
Yeah, 3, 2.
Maybe have a case back.